All right, guys, this is the thing. A6700, A7C II, which is coming out presumably by the end of this month, the announcement, or ZV-E1. Which is the camera for you? Which is the camera for me? I don't know. Let's discuss this real quick. Now, for me, the A6700, I don't see it really doing it for me because this is the ZV-E10. And as you can see, the quality is outstanding for the price. For $699, less if you buy it used, which I did. And this lens on here is the Sigma 56mm, just trying this lens out as a YouTube lens. So, and it works good. I could use this, I could use the 35, you can use the Sigma 16. I mean, there's so many lenses you can use for the ZV-E10, right? But the camera's only $699. You could literally buy two of these for the price of one A6700 and have an A and a B cam. And the reason why I think the A67 is not for me, I love the features. I wish I had all the features. That's great. But to me, it's not worth the jump because the sensor is really not any different. It's really very little difference. You're not going to notice side by side the difference between the ZV-E10 or the A6700. You're just not going to notice the difference. It's really going to be indistinguishable. So for me, I think paying the money for the A6700 is not going to work. So for me, personally, that one's out. Because I mentioned before, I think the Canon R8, now I like Sony, but the Canon R8 for $1499, that's like, boom. That's a punch to the gut to Sony, right? So now Sony, what are your options? If you want to go to the new camera, right? You still got the A7C original. You got the A7 III, which you can get for around the price of the Canon EOS R8. But the R8, that one does 60 frames per second uncropped, right? So, and it's, a couple of years newer, so you're talking about newer features, better LCD screen, touch LCD screen, and neither of the other two have that. And it's compact, so you can use it for a vlogging camera too. So what does Sony's got? Well, Sony's going to have the A7C II coming out very shortly, and it's got the ZV-E1. Now, I like the ZV-E1. The problem is it's just $2,200 is too much. But if you can get it used for, let's say, $1,800, maybe $1,900, you can find it used for that, then it's getting at least closer to the ballpark because I think the A7C II, I'm hearing they're going to, $2,000, couple grand, it's going to come out, or maybe even $2,200, which would be foolish. If it's only $200 less than the A7 IV, you're still not covering that range. Like, where's your range, Sony, for a new full-frame camera? If Canon can do it for $15, and then you can't do it, a new one, under $2,200, that's a $700 difference, man. You can buy a Canon R8 and two lenses for that. So that's a tough spot because I want to try the ZV-E1. And that's the way I'm kind of leaning, even though it's too much. So I'm not going to pay full price for it. I'll tell you that right now. But I had the A7 IV. And with my R8, I just didn't need the A7 IV. I didn't need it. It was a great camera. And I'm like, well, I can get, a good amount for that, still sell it. And then I can take that money and invest in a new camera that suits my needs a little more. Because the A7 IV was wonderful. The sensor's great. And inside the A7C II body, that'd be great, but is it going to be cropped? And if it's not cropped in the A7C II, then, man, I can't see how they can make the A7C II with 60 frames per second uncropped. If they were going to do that, then they would have to do some kind of firmware update or something to figure it out on the A7 IV because those guys you'd be basically getting cheated. The only thing you'd really gain on the A7 IV then is the extra card slot for a couple $100. And 60 frames per second cropped when the R8 isn't cropped, Or you can get even the S5 II used or on sale for less than $2,000. So Sony, I'm hoping that they'll just, $17.99 or less for the A7C II. Now, I'm kind of dreaming there, but that is where I'd like to see it. If it's $17.99, I'll probably buy it. Maybe, I don't know. It's either that one or the ZV-E1. But the reason I'm kind of leaning towards the ZV-E1 is just because it does have the sensor that I haven't used or experienced. It's a super, good for super low light, which I don't necessarily need. But if I want to do kind of like a semi-night vlog, that'd be cool to have that range. But again, I don't need it, but I think it'd be fun. So I'm kind of in a conundrum. A7C II for me or the ZV-E1. So I don't really know which way I'm going to go. Leave in the comments below which way you think, guys. I had the A7 IV sensor. I love it. Wonderful sensor. If the A7C II, I mean, smaller, compact, I can vlog with it better. It's got all the newer features, plus that sensor. I kind of like that. But I also like the sensor in the ZV-E1. It's just overpriced. Now the ZV-E1, if that was closer to like Canon R8, I mean, think of that. The ZV-E1 doesn't have a viewfinder, doesn't have any of that, right? So if the A7C comes out, I don't see how they're going to do it for less than $17.99. So that'd be anything more than $17.99. And I just, man, for me, it's hard to justify. But even though it's a great sensor, but if it's going to have one card slot, you know, it's not a professional camera. I don't care about that. I'm kind of torn which way to go. Don't know which way I want to roll with that. So if you could persuade me perhaps, or if you were thinking the same kind of on the train of thought that I am, which way would be the way to go? Do I need it? No, I can do everything with my Canon R8 and my ZV-E10 that I need to do, honestly. But, you know, I like the new tech. I like the new cameras. And if it makes my workflow a little easier, then I'm all about it. But, I mean, there it is. And I don't see jumping up to the A6700. Like I said, the sensor's it's not going to change for me anything. I'm not going to use them for photography. The Canon R8, that's my photography camera if I want to do photography, which is very little. I mean, it's so much more convenient with your phones. It's everywhere you go. So the phones for photography for me are fine. It's easier to share. Boom, 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 done. Networking and sharing on cameras is ridiculous, you know. So that's not going to take phone or photography over photography for me. But anyways, let me know in the comments below what you think. Just thought I'd throw this out, tickle your brains. I'm just pounding this out in my head, trying to figure out which way I want to go. Because I can get a used ZV-E1 probably for around $19 to $2,000. Still too much for me. Now, maybe I'm a cheapskate, but let me know in the comments below what you think. And I'd be happy to hear from you. Maybe you can sway me. Which one of these cameras is right for you? Let me know why your use case, it works good for you. I'm interested. I just want to know. I just want to get involved in that conversation and kind of bump heads together and see what we can come up with. Maybe you can help me make that decision. So, all right, guys, take care. Hope you have a great day. Thank you. Bye.